Made it back to the yard. Getting ready to unhook my trailer, man. Had a pretty good day. It is, let's see, 8:24. Still early. First one back. Got a spare truck right there. I did forget that it was Valentine's Day weekend. Completely forgot about that. I guess I should have known, but it just slipped my mind. So my orders was, pretty heavy. I'm sure all the food service drivers out there can relate. Let me go ahead and unhook my trailer and hop in my car, and I'll tap back in with you guys in a second. Keep it locked. What up, guys? So on my most recent video entitled Trucking is Trash, I received quite a bit of comments on that video, a lot of opinions. The vast majority of you guys agreed and shared my sentiments, which is to say trucking isn't trash, and there are still some good trucking job opportunities in this industry. But there was a handful of people who still believe that trucking is trash, and you're entitled to your own opinion. But I pinned a comment on that video, and I want to share that comment with you guys. This person says, I made $80K in 10 months at Pepsi last year, which was my first CDL job. Let me repeat that. I made $80K in 10 months at Pepsi last year, which was my first CDL job. Home every night, amazing health coverage. It's been life-changing for me and my family. This industry is full of opportunities. Stay tenacious, everyone. Man, first and foremost, let me just say, brother, I appreciate you for sharing your testimony. I really appreciate you for continuing to support the channel. I've seen you in the comments section for quite some time now, and I just have a lot of gratitude for people such as yourself, because it really inspires me and motivates me to continue making these type of videos and continue pushing a positive narrative around the trucking industry, because there is so much negativity around trucking. A lot of people want you to talk about the doom and the gloom and speak negative about the trucking industry. I'll say this, and this is what I stated in the video that he commented on, the Trucking is Trash video. I stated in that video that there are some trucking jobs in this industry where the compensation is terrible. Trust me, I used to have one of those jobs, and I didn't stay at that job very long. 4 months, I was out of there, and I found a better paying job. So here's the deal. When you come in the trucking industry, particularly some of you new CDL drivers, it's very important that you do your research. It's very important that you understand that the vast majority of companies in the trucking industry, most companies will require you to have a minimum of 1 year driving experience. Now, that doesn't mean you can't find some trucking jobs that will hire you with zero experience, because those trucking jobs are out there. Like my man just said, that was his first CDL job. With that being said, he works for Pepsi. Pepsi is a very physically demanding job. It's beverage. Much like Coca-Cola, much like food service. These are very physically demanding jobs. But these jobs will give you new drivers an opportunity to make some pretty good money. Now, depending on where you live, beverage may pay a little bit more than food service, and food service may pay more than beverage. For the most part, at least from my experience, definitely where I live, food service pays a lot more than beverage. But there are some cities, some places where certain beverage companies may pay a little bit more than some food service companies. So again, do your research on that. Talk to drivers that work for these companies so you have better insight on what the compensation looks like. You just really want to be well informed when making your decision on a company that you plan on working for. Also, you have to understand, as a new CDL driver with zero driving experience, your options are going to be limited. Mega carriers will hire new drivers all day long. But are you willing to go over the road? Most people, at least from what I hear and what I see in the comments section, a lot of you guys want to stay local. So if you want to stay local, some of the jobs that will give you an opportunity are beverage companies, food service companies, and not all food service companies will hire new CDL drivers, but there are a handful of them that will. There are some LTL companies who have doctor driver programs. There may be some more companies that I can't think of right now that may give you an opportunity as a new CDL driver. But it's not a lot of them. But OTR, if you're willing to go OTR, you have a lot more variety to choose from. And I won't sit here and say that OTR is a bad choice, right? It just depends on your situation. It depends on your family dynamic and what you have going on. It could be a good fit for you. But I want you guys to keep things into perspective, and I want you guys to be real, right? Let's be realistic about this situation. The fact of the matter is that a lot of people shy away from jobs like food service and beverage because it's a tough job. It pays well, but you're gonna work for it. Like I seen somebody commented on his particular comment, and this person said, yeah, but you're leaving out the part where you had to bust your butt to make that money. They said something along those lines, right? I'm paraphrasing. But they said something along those lines. And the reality is, you're gonna work for the money. If you choose to do food service or you choose to do beverage, yes, you're going to work for the money, right? That's a given. So you got to figure out, what are you going to sacrifice? If you get into something like food service or beverage, you're going to be sacrificing your body because there's going to be, some wear and tear on your body. If you choose to go OTR, you're still going to be sacrificing your body. You're probably eating bad junk food all day, so you're not getting proper nutrition. Hence why so many truck drivers are obese. So pick your poison. When it comes to jobs like fuel hauling, that's not necessarily everybody's cup of tea. Every job that you can think of, there's going to be people who will criticize certain aspects of the job. When I hear people criticize fuel hauling, what I hear most is that, well, you got to work all the holidays and you don't have a life and you got to work, 60 plus hours a week to make money, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. These are the things that people say. When it comes to food service, like I just mentioned, they say, well, you got to bust your butt to make the money. You work hard for the money. That's too hard. It's a young man's game. You hear all these things about food service, right? It's the same thing with beverage. So, what do you want to do? You got to ask yourself, what do you want to do? What sacrifices are you willing to make? LTL. LTL is pretty laid back. The only downside to LTL, particularly if you're a new person, is LTL is very seniority driven. So if you're the low man on the totem pole, if LTL freight starts slowing up, or God forbid they start doing layoffs, like, ABF Freight does a lot of layoffs. Some people may come back, some don't. ABF Freight is a unionized company. I got to put that out there. It's pros and cons to all these jobs. Figure out what works best for you and your situation. Owner operator, same thing. What sacrifice are you willing to make? I follow this content creator who does flatbed. He's an owner operator. Seems like a cool dude. But he only does local runs. He doesn't go OTR. The reason he said he stays local and he want to be home every night because he has kids. So his whole thing is he want to be home. He want to be able to go to some of his kids' games. And he just want to be present. Because like he mentioned in one of his videos, and I 100% agree with, he stated that you can always make money, but you can't get time back. And that's facts. And so some people will look at his situation and say, man, you staying local, you missing out on so much money because you're not, going OTR with it. You need to expand your radius and pick up more loads and do all these things. And dude is like, man, I'm good with these loads around here so I can get back home to my kids. Again, a lot of people are going to look at that and say, well, I need to go out and run and make this money for the kids. So people are going to have different perspectives. Some people are willing to be away from their family because in their mind they're saying, look, I'm doing it for the family, so I'll sacrifice being gone and running up a bag and making this money, and I'm just going to have to miss out on some of my kids' activities. I'm going to have to miss out on spending time with my significant other, my girlfriend, boyfriend, spouse, whatever the case may be, because I'm trying to chase the bag. Listen, man, money is not always the most important thing, particularly when you have kids, when you have a spouse, a partner. It's not all about the money all the time. Sometimes you got to find a balance because both things are equally important. It can't just be all about money. Make good decisions out here, man. A lot of people's problems out here start with their decision making, but people don't like to hold themselves accountable. So the easiest thing to do is to blame somebody else. It's to blame the company. We need to start holding ourselves accountable for the choices that we make. Point blank, period. If you go work for a company where the pay is terrible and you stay at that company, whose fault is that? When there are other jobs out here where the compensation is much higher. I'll leave on this note. For all the new drivers out there, I would encourage you to get your endorsements. I've mentioned this before on my platform, but definitely get all your endorsements. Stay positive. Don't get discouraged. It's still a competitive market out there. People with experience are having a tough time finding jobs, so you already know somebody with no experience is probably going to have an even tougher time. You may have to follow up with some applications if you've already put some in. Don't just let it lie dormant and wait on them to call you. You call them and find out what your status is. Act like you want it. But that's all I got for you guys, man. I'll catch y'all on the next one.